evening, everyone. Welcome to a new podcast. My name is Ian Said, but most people know me as Tacho. And today we have the pleasure to talk with Dominic Carone, also known as 3 Dom. As Smash 4 veteran, and nowadays in Ultimate, he's known as the best Richter Main in the world. Dom has been a force to be reckoned with as has placed amazingly as S-tier tournaments with just Richter as his companion, taking sets out of amazing players both offline and online, and he was able to have an aggressive playstyle despite his main sonar archetype. Amazing achievements from him, don't you think? Dom, how are you?
How am I?
How are you, Dom?
I'm doing great. Just kind of. How am I?
Yeah, how are you?
Could you repeat it again? You kind of broke up a little bit. Oh, yeah. I'm just enjoying the weekend. I still got some work to take care of, but it's kind of a little decrease in pace. So, thanks for having me, by the way. I appreciate it.
It's cool. I'm glad you're
How are
here.
you doing?
I'm doing great, honestly. I'm taking care of two cats alone, so I'm glad my friend's here, though. So, do you want to start? Do you want to start?
Would you like me to start with what?
With the podcast.
Oh, it's kind of just a background?
What you mean? Wait, what? What?
Would
Dom?
you like me to start with what? I might have misheard you.
With
The
the
connection's
questions,
just a little bit
with the
off.
questions of the podcast, you know?
Oh, the questions of the podcast.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, what's the first question?
Well, I want to start the podcast knowing about your past with the game. How long have you been playing Smash aside from competitive play?
Okay. If I could kind of give a rundown on that. Like most people, I started the game casually in Brawl. So I was probably about 8 or 9 years old when it came out, and I just would go to a friend's house, let's say his birthday party, or we're just hanging out, and would just play with items on all the stages. Nobody,
Yeah.
just for fun, and pausing the game and messing around, stuff like that. So, I mean, my parents wouldn't even let me buy the game because it was rated T, and I was like, 9 years old. Um, they didn't end up letting me get it until like the later years of its lifespan. But again, like very casual. My friends thought I was cheating when I figured out how to shield and roll and stuff because I didn't know how to do it. And we'd always play with items, etc. And then when Smash 4 came around, I think that was when I first got was even aware of the fact that people did tournaments in the first place. I think it had been so long since a new title came out because I think it was around like 2014-ish when it got announced, and that was my second year of high school, and it had probably been maybe I don't know, like 5 or 6 years since I'd been playing it like consistently. So I was really excited to see the series come back because of the nostalgia factor I had.
Yeah.
And I think one of my friends discovered some videos of people playing in tournaments, and him and I just like laughed at the concept of people playing this children's party game for money, and didn't really understand. So I started playing the game more like online, the online matchmaking and such. And I guess eventually I came around to being interested in going to a tournament. My friend and I were like kind of confident. Oh, well, we'll go there. These guys aren't good. We'll destroy everybody. I mean, I went 1-2, I think, my first ever tournament. So I kind of found out that it was like, oh my god, these people are all so much better than me. And it's like I've been playing the game a good amount just from like online or etc.
Yeah.
So from there, I didn't really attend a whole lot of events. I probably went to maybe like 15 to 20 tournaments total during the whole lifespan of Smash 4. I'd probably go to something maybe once every other month or
Yeah.
so. And it wasn't until Ultimate that I decided to take the game more seriously. I mean, I did somewhat well in Smash 4. But I never went to a major or anything. Like I think all the tournaments I went to had from maybe like anywhere from 10 to 30 people ish. I mean, the best I got was maybe like fourth. So I usually go like 3-2, 4-2, something like that. I never won money from a tournament in the
Yeah.
game. And then when Ultimate came around, I was it piqued my interest once again. He was bringing back all the characters. A new game was coming out with the Switch, and found a character that I was interested to pick up, and so I decided to take it more seriously. I did a lot better at the local that I used to go to, and people were telling me like, "Oh, you should try going pro," and I'm like, "Nah, this sounds kind of like a big time commitment to me." And then someone gave me a ride to Mega Smash Mondays, went there, and just started going to more tournaments, getting more experience, talking to people in the community, and just kind of gradually improving at that rate.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Do you remember your first tournament though? Like when was it? Where was it? How was it?
Yeah,
Do you remember?
yeah, I remember. I remember pretty well. How was it? One of my high school friends, the tournament was Mega Smash Mondays number 9. It was the ninth one that they ever hosted. So it was like really early in its phases. It's not like as big as it is now because they've done over 200 tournaments at this point. It happened in the city that he grew up in, so he knew the area pretty well. We convinced his dad to drive us there, and it was at like this card trading shop where they have like Yu-Gi-Oh competitions and Pokemon cards and stuff like that. I mean, I didn't grow up with trading card games, so I'm not like that familiar with it, but that's all I know about it. And so I got to meet Sonic Mega, the Sean Chiplock, the voice actor behind Rivali and Legend of Zelda and whatnot, as I played friendlies with him because we both made Mega Man. So that was pretty fun. I mean, as did everybody else, I was obviously pretty nervous playing for the first time. I think my round 1 was like a Yoshi or something like that. Um, I think I lost 2. Then I played a Link and then won 2-0, and then played. I lost a close set after that, but it was fun just meeting people who also enjoyed the game, playing friendlies and whatnot. So overall, it was like pretty memorable experience in that matter.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Where does the tag T3 Dom comes from?
Okay, so first I thought it'd be kind of sound like a cool gamer tag to like. I was playing a lot of Call of Duty at the time, so I just thought that like, oh, I can make a crew of my friends, and there were 3 of us, and we called it T3, and then I just put when I made my Smash GG account or whatever my account was, I didn't know you were supposed to put your crew like separate from your name, so I put it in my name, and that's why it's there. So some people think that it's actually a sponsor, but it's not, and it's like part of my name just because I didn't know. That's essentially where it came from. It's got Dominic because that's my name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's kind of interesting. Well, if I recall correctly, before playing Ultimate in Smash 4, you were like a Mega Man, Ryu main, Captain Falcon maybe as well. What do you like about those characters?
Okay, so I made Toon Link in Smash 4.
Oh.
Um, yeah, I've changed mains every game for some reason. They just don't play the same, I guess, that each iteration. I also played Wario too. I played Wario just because he was funny. I just liked his animations were different in the game. I mean, fart jokes. I was like 10 years old, so I guess that appealed to me. And I played him too. I would just kind of use his neutral B and just like, you know, use his bite, and then it would send people into tech chase. And for some reason, everybody online would just tech roll in. So I would just keep doing it over and over and over again to some people. They just didn't know how to stop doing it. It was really funny. And then I think at some point I was just like, you know what? I'll pick up Mega Man. Like for some reason, I just thought he was aesthetically cool. He had a really unique play style. I watched a lot of sets of Zuko who was playing him at like Xanadu or something. I don't know whatever happened to him. Like he was like the main Mega Man player that I'd watch until Kamemushi came around and got second at Evo, like seemingly out of nowhere with him. So I started playing him a lot. I guess watching some like YouTube guides and stuff, and then eventually when I was also playing online, I ran into a lot of Falcon because he was a really popular character, and sometimes I just absolutely got destroyed by him. So I was like, you know what, this character seems really good. I'm gonna try picking him up. So I played him too, and then the story with Ryu was just like he was the only character. He was like the one character I predicted who was gonna be DLC. Um, I was telling my friends about it. You know what? They're gonna put. I have a feeling they're gonna put Ryu in Street Fighter because he's from a fighting game. It only makes sense. And what was even funnier is I didn't have Twitter. I didn't use Twitter that much. I didn't keep up with the community that much. So like when I had no idea. I didn't even see the direct. I didn't see the trailer. I didn't see the direct or anything. So literally, I just boot up my Switch one day. I go on Elite or not Elite. It's called For Glory in that previous version. I literally just go on For Glory and just run into somebody playing Ryu, and I was like, "What the hell? He's in the game!" Like, because I didn't see the trailer at all, so I was like so excited about it. I was like, "What the hell? He's in the game now!" So I just like immediately bought him and then picked him up and got carried. So, but I kind of how it worked was I don't feel like I counterpicked in the way that you would normally like. Usually you use one of the few characters for a certain matchup. I just kind of felt like whoever I was feeling that day. Like I'd go play friendlies with like each of my characters, whoever I was feeling, and I'm like, you know what? Like my Mega Man's not playing very well. I'll go somebody else. Like I mean, there was sometimes like I'm fighting Fox or something that I go Ryu because he would just destroy him and kill him at like 50 or like infinite up tilt stuff like that. But like most of the time, it was just I kind of play whoever. So I kind of wish I had that again. Right now, it's just I can't play anybody as well as my main in this game for some reason.
That makes sense.
I don't know what it is about. Yeah.
That makes sense. How was your experience? How was your experience like when Ultimate was announced? Specifically, the teacher of Inkling, E3, the direct with the Belmonts. How was everything like?
I mean, I kept up with all of it ever since it was announced. I like went to my friend's house where we watched the direct like live together because I didn't have class at the time. I think it was a school. No, it might have been a Saturday. He literally picked me up from my dorm and we went to his place to watch it. So that was cool. A lot of my friends, a few of my friends, they got the game like day zero. They got the game like technically a day before its release from GameStop, and so we all played it. The two characters that I was wanted to try out the most or the newcomer characters was Belmont and Incineroar. But I mean, Incineroar was fun until I realized how like slow and bad he is. So yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, in the jump of Smash 4 to Ultimate, was it hard to adapt in those first few months of the game?
Um, it felt better to me, especially the kind of like not what's it called like the turnaround canceling where you can just you can down smash out of a dash and stuff like that. I liked a lot. Um, I like kind of dropped all my old Smash 4 mains because of the new mechanics. Essentially, I didn't like Ryu's auto turnaround at first, and he felt just I guess clunkier to me for some reason. He doesn't play the same way that he did in the previous game. Mega Man, they got rid of footstool combos, so I was kind of like, oh, that was like my favorite thing to do with him. I actually thought Mega Man was worse in this game, but ironically, he got better, and I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Falcon was also terrible in the game first came out, so I essentially stopped playing all my old characters except for Mega Man. I kept playing for a bit. I like if you saw old VODs of me, I've pulled him out in like tournaments before, so yeah, offline.
Yeah. How do you feel about them now, though?
How do I feel about what now?
About Falcon, Ryu, and Mega Man now?
Oh, Falcon, I maybe like just play online or in friendlies every once in a while just for fun. He doesn't play anywhere the same that he used to. And then Ryu, I don't play him at all. I don't touch Ryu at all or Ken. I play Terry every once in a while, like more often now.
Yeah.
He's just easier, more fun.
Well, easier doesn't mean more
That's
fun. Lucina is easier than Marth, but doesn't mean it's funner. It's fun than playing with Marth.
It's subjective. It's just my opinion. I just have more fun just mashing and holding jab and auto turnarounding than like camping with Ryu and with shakunets and just down tilt and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. And well, from all the characters in the game, why do you choose Richter? At the end of the day.
So I've told this I've told people the story like a number of times. So if you don't know, I had this like high school physics teacher who had the same name, and he was kind of like a meme between me and my friends. So I knew who Simon was. I was kind of like, please don't announce Simon. Like I hope Simon doesn't get revealed in the game because the only character I want is Crash Bandicoot. I've wanted him since like Brawl. So they announced Simon. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I guess he's cool. And then they show Richter in the halfway through the trailer. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, his name's Richter. I need to like play him just for the memes. And I mean, I recognized the character. I just didn't know his name.
Yeah.
I had never played a Castlevania game like before Ultimate. Um, so I was just kind of just playing him just because the irony of it, and then he just turned out to be my main anyway, and he turned out to be super fun. I'm like, I want to play this character. I mean, everyone was playing him at the beginning of the game, you know. He looked like he was a broken character at the beginning of the game, so I felt like I was making a good investment.
Yeah, I can see that. And so, what do you feel about Simon, though?
What about Simon?
How do you feel
I
about
mean,
him?
I I don't I just don't play. I mean, I'll play him every once in a while, or like just again for the memes. But like, well, now he's the meme. Richter's my main now. But like, um, everyone debates like, oh, who do you think is? You think Simon's like ugly or something, or like, I mean, I don't really think he's ugly. He looks older. He's like, I feel like he has less swag aesthetically, in my opinion. That's why I don't play him. But that's just an opinion.
Yeah, I can see that. Although, what I think of Simon is that he has better ults, but at the end of the day, the only difference is that the holy water in Richter's works better in the Olimar matchup than Simon. But at the end of the day, Richter is another out or another skin of Simon, or vice versa.
Right.
Here's Oblivion, the best player in Paraguay, like saying hi. Hi Oblivion, how are you? Hola Oblivion, ¿cómo estás?
What was that? What do I think of what?
No, like in the chat, there's.
Oh, he's just saying
Oblivion.
hi.
Yeah, yeah, just saying hi.
Oh, okay. What's up?
He also plays with Richter. He's the best Richter main in. He's possibly one of the best Richter mains in South America. And he says like, hey Dom, fantastic Richter, hey Tacho. And El Juarez, the best Richter main in South America from Chile. And when I said that Oblivion was one of the best in South America, he's like, hey, watch out right there, like, because El Juarez is the best Richter main in South America, and he's a little bit offended about what I said about Oblivion. I don't know if you understood anything what I said though.
Yeah, I did.
So, hola Eduardo, hola Oblivion, ¿cómo están? Perdón si hay errores de conexión, hay un poco de problema con el internet y además que estamos a 5 horas de distancia, así que es un poco entendible en ese aspecto. Así que lo aviso desde ahora. So, going back to the podcast, I don't know if you understood anything that I said though in Spanish. But going back to the podcast, how do you feel about Richter in the current offline meta?
Okay. A lot of people kind of confuse, or I guess it's kind of just like a misconception that I don't even know if it's a misconception. It's just like the argument as to whether he's better online or not. Personally, I play him the exact same way as I would offline. Like, I don't change my playstyle. I don't change what I do. It's just the main factors is that the projectiles are probably a little better, just because it's harder to react to them. But like the fact that projectiles just naturally have an advantage online. I will give it that. And on top of that, some of his options that will hit ledge, for example, are unreactable online, but reactable offline. So there's some things that you could avoid. But it's kind of, there are a lot of drawbacks to online. It's like a lot of his moves, like a lot of his like normal moves, the whip attacks that he has are active for like 1 or 2 frames. You have to be very precise with them because they're so small and thin. So if there's like a blip of lag or delay or something like that, then you're more likely to miss an attack and you could lose neutral for it.
Yeah.
On top of that, um, your reaction is, sure, their reaction is slower. They can't react to projectiles as fast. You can't react to your opponent's approach as quickly either. So sometimes they can get in more easily because of that. You can't hit confirm as easily. Like a lot of times, like you'd probably hit somebody gets stuck in holy water. If you were playing offline, you'd have enough time to see that and forward smash them. But online, you don't have enough time to even like react to that. The fact that they got hit by it and hit confirm off of it. Or sometimes there are some setups that you have to react, but you can't online either. And like things like up B at a shield as well, like you have to react. Like, did they cross you up? Did they space it correctly? What move did they use? You have to react to that too. There's a lot of like reactionary things that you can't do anymore online that actually hurt you too. So I guess it's kind of hard to say, but I don't think online necessarily benefits him that much, really. I don't know if that was like the question exactly, because you were just asking about his meta like right now. I kind of just turned it into online versus offline though.
I'm honestly asking about what do you think about him offline, not online though. But
Right.
thanks for
Okay.
the answer about the online that I
Yeah.
was gonna ask later though. That doesn't matter. It's okay.
Okay. Okay. So offline, it's like, I mean, that's kind of like most of the history of it. Is just like everybody started playing him in the beginning because people didn't know how to fight him. So the thing is, like, matchup experience is the number one thing that makes him garbage. Is like if you know how to fight him, if you don't know how to fight him, he'll steamroll you. If you know how to fight him, it's like actually kind of sad. Is he can like he's really conditioning heavy, I'd say, because he can punish you really hard for picking the wrong option. But if people don't even know what the wrong option is, then they're just gonna keep dying for it. And that's what was happening. Is obviously people just kept getting up into the fire for no reason. And then once people started doing that, then it's just like, I mean, everybody was playing the character at first. Everybody thought he was broken until they figured out, okay, he's not that great. He's got like bad air drift. His disadvantage is terrible. His recovery is pretty bad. Things like that. But like, I never felt like during all the losses and like struggling online, I never felt like the character was holding me back, except for maybe like 7 or 8 matchups that are like practically not winnable at a certain level. But I felt like it was mostly my fault that I was losing, and it was kind of tough, like seeing people drop the character because I had to learn a lot of how he works by myself. A lot of the more like recent stuff I developed was just by myself, like labbing and stuff like that, and it's basically just centered around what would you do against somebody who knows how to fight you, and there's still some stuff that you can't like work around, like if somebody knows how to like SDI or DI things properly, there's not much you can really do about it. You just kind of have to bite the bullet if you want to play the character. That's like the main thing that sucks, and it's just like a lot of those problems they could patch out, but because of the character's perception, his high win rates online, because he does really well against people who don't know how to fight him, it kind of gives the illusion that the character is really good when you just have to understand how he works. I mean, there are some characters where he actually does do well against, but like for the most part, it's just like if you know his weaknesses, you can just exploit him really easily.
Yeah, makes sense. Three things that I wanted to say before the next question. The first thing that Anon asked before, Dom, you good? You look stressed out.
I'm a little, well, I'm just like kind of exhausted because I had a lot of work to take care of this weekend. I was tweeting about it. I had like I had big I had jeez I had a big exam yesterday. In the U.S., if you want to get certified to sign drawings, establish your own engineering firm, and things like that, you need a professional engineer license, and you have to take 2 exams to qualify for that. And I won't go too much into it. One of them is like the fundamentals exam, and it's a 5-hour long exam. So I had to leave my place at 1 p.m. and go to a testing room and wear my mask, breathing my own breath in for like 5 hours. on this like 110 question exam, and I got back at like 7 p.m. and I was just like totally exhausted. It was yesterday, so I'm like still recovering from that, I guess. And on top of that, I still have like an essay due that I got an extension on, and like this other work that I have to take care of after this is over. So that's probably why I'm like somewhat stressed out.
I hope.
Some other things going on.
Let's hope for the best. I hope that. Let's pray for this. Let's pray for
Thanks.
Alonso. Next thing was El Juarez that said, I think Belmont got a little bit buffed online, but because the people don't know how to deal with the projectiles, but the aerial whip game got nerfed online because some aerials only last one frame and the hitbox are really thin. MU experience / bracket luck are huge factors.
Right.
I don't know how you feel about that though.
Well, no, those were like the main factors that I was talking about. It's just like you have to be accurate, and it's obviously harder to be accurate online. And then the combination of like reacting to their approach and things like that makes online a bit. There are negatives to it. It kind of depends. I mean, when you see them from a results perspective, it seems like a lot of mid-tier characters are doing well, like better than offline. You know, it seems like a lot of. I will admit that it seems like a lot of lower tier characters appear more viable online because you're seeing results from like Samus. Well, Samus is pretty good, but like Isabel or Bayonetta, and like you see these characters show up on the rankings when you probably almost never see those on the PGR. And not just like one representative of the character, like multiple of certain characters. And then you see characters that like don't do as well. Like you don't see you barely see any Mario or Joker. These like a lot of the reaction-based characters, for example.
Well, here in South America, I see more Mario, more Joker, and less like characters. I mean, there's reaction characters that are not seen that much, like Peach or maybe Palu.
Oh, Peach too. Mm-hmm.
But for example, one of the best online players in Chile is a Mario main. Shout out to Pepa. Yeah, basically that. I think it depends on the region, but I can see why in the U.S. and Mexico there's less Mario mains. And that or
right. I mean, you can look at it right now. There are no Mario mains on the rankings. I mean, unless maybe it's just because some of the top offline Mario players don't play in Wi-Fi tournaments.
I mean,
so that could be a factor.
See,
at least here. Yeah, no problem.
Oh Lord. Gracias, Homero. Homero is my roommate. The guy that I was talking about.
No worries.
Yeah. I mean, technically there are Mario mains, but no those type of Mario. I mean, you see Doctor Mario mains in the results and the PR technically. I don't know. It was a shitty show. Next question. Let's go to the next question because it gets too cringy. Do you think your playstyle changes in comparison to other top level Richter mains?
Okay, this is one thing I kind of talk about is that I'd say yes. I don't even know if it's like a playstyle consideration because I feel that the character's toolset is very limited. As in, there are, for example, some moves that you'd only use in one situation, or there's some moves that like up tilt, for example, is like primarily used as an anti-air or to pressure platforms, but it's laggy, it doesn't hit grounded opponents, it doesn't combo into anything, it's generally a bad move. And for example, use dash attack to anti-air instead of like it's just a better up tilt. Like there are a lot of moves where it's like there's no point in using this move when this move exists. Or for example, you never use jab, you never use You almost never. There's certain moves in his kit that you almost never use, and so he's like very limited. And I feel like it's if you have a character like Snake, for example, who has like so many tools at his disposal, you could play him in so many different ways and make him still work. You could see who's playing the game. Or sorry, you don't have to see the tags. You could just look at the gameplay and you could tell who's using him. You could tell who's playing the character just by watching them play. But what I think about Belmont is like I don't really think that's true for that character or should be true as much. I mean, maybe you could probably still tell, but it's not like nearly as visible with a character, with a top tier character that has a lot of tools. So like, I think that it's more of like there's a right and wrong way of playing him, but I wouldn't say the wrong isn't gonna win you games. It's like there's what's optimal and there's what's what you should be doing, which is what I've been trying to find.
Yeah.
Some people might get this follow up where I get this follow up, and you could call it a play style thing when really it's just like what's like the best decision, what'll get you the most damage, what like covers the most options, and then stuff like that. Especially when it comes to like the ledge trapping stuff, because that stuff I've been trying to figure out on my own. Just restricting what people can do, or like forcing people into the same situations over and over again, where like you force them to pick something, and it's like if they pick like 1 out of 3 options and it's like the wrong one, then you kill them for it. Stuff like that, because the character can really have a hard time killing.
Yeah, I can see that. Can you explain me the origin of the so-called Richter gauntlet?
I don't know where that came from, honestly. It was probably something that like a commentator said, but I mean at the time, like early phases of offline, Richter was pretty common here, I guess. So like, there's like maybe like 3 or 4 other players who use the character. I don't know if like a top level, but Nitro, for example, was playing the character for like a long time, and like, he was like easily the best Richter in the region at the time because he was the only one who was on PR. I learned a lot of things from him actually, because somebody was like, "Oh, you should hit him up, like ask him questions, and feedback. Maybe it could help you get better at the game." And I did. Like him and like Razzo helped me get to like a pretty high level just from like asking them like for advice, because he's like. So I think like, and I feel like he would agree with me when he says that. Okay, I probably play Richter better than him, but he plays Smash Ultimate better than me. Like he's a better Smash Ultimate player. Like he knows fundamentals, especially at the time. He knew fundamentals like way better than I did. So he'd like point to things in my VODs. He'd like go to like a 5-second clip and he'd point out exactly like this is what you did wrong, or this is why you lost. Stuff that I would never think of. But anyways, back to the whole like gauntlet term. I mean, yeah, I guess we'd show up at the same tournament sometimes, and like, there were like multiple times where somebody would run into him in winners and lose, and then fight me in losers and lose, or fight me in winners and then him in losers and lose. Like they'll get double eliminated by Richter or whatever. So I guess that's where that came from, which is, I mean, too bad for them, I guess. Like, learn the matchup. I don't know.
Thank God that in my region there's not a single Belmont main anymore. Although it's pretty sad because I like playing against Belmonts, but in my region there was one, but he decided to play with Joker and then with Ike and then with any other character. But
Yeah, that's what Nitro did. He's like, okay, Richter sucks, I'm gonna play Joker, which was like kind of odd to me because when I didn't meet him for a while. I'd been going to tournaments for like a few months before I even met him at one, and it was just like, oh my god, like this is the guy that's been like putting in work with the character I use. Like I want to learn stuff from him, and then to hear him say this character sucks, like stop playing him, it's just like, what? I thought he was like, you're literally like top 10 in this region with him, and you're saying he sucks. Like I thought, it kind of just. I didn't really understand why he was bad, because at my level, the character destroys people. I mean, only rarely would I run into somebody who like knew what they were doing. Then when I got to a certain point, I just kind of was seeing, okay, yeah, people. If you run into somebody who plays this way, doesn't do this at all, or does this option, like I don't know what to do. At least at the time, I didn't know what to do. It's like it made him look like a pretty bad character. So it was kind of like a realization that. He's not as viable as I thought he was.
yeah, makes sense. Well, Sumpanchini right now exchanged 500 Tacho points, so I could say a take. I'm known in South America and Latin America in general for my really controversial hot takes, maybe about video games or movies or TV series or anything in general. Do you want to choose a topic in general so I can say a hot take about that if you want? I'm I'm laying that choice to you, Dom.
Oh, you want me to say a topic, or were you saying?
A topic, so I could say a hot take about that topic. Like it could be video games, music, movies, TV series, anything.
Let's see.
Smash.
How about? Well, since we're talking about Smash, I'd only assume it's possible. Okay, who do you think is the most? Who do you think's the most overrated character in the game in terms of like how good they are?
Mm, technically, I could say between three different characters. First, we will talk about Lucina because nowadays people have been learning the matchup more, but people keep putting her at top 10, and I cannot see that anymore. Even before the pandemic started, I was like, nah, she can be top 10. Like, no. Um, the same thing with Pac-Man. Even online, I think Pac-Man is overrated, or at least not overrated in terms of like how good he is. But I think he's overrated in terms of like watching Pac-Man is boring. I don't know, and playing against Pac-Man is not that hard. You just need to learn how and when he's gonna throw the fruit, and if he's gonna throw the fruit to the hydrant, you gotta jump or you gotta avoid it, and you have to just learn how to work with the hydrant and the fruits, and that's pretty much it. It's not that hard as it seems, and I think we can say that Pikachu is probably the best character in the game, but at the same time he's not. I think we can say that he's the best character in the game if we can choose another player. If there's another player that gets top 8 or at least top 16 at majors other than Isam. Otherwise, people saying that Pikachu is the best character in the game, that's just kind of stupid. I don't know if I'm answering your question though.
I mean, it did answer the question on your opinions. I mean,
Oh,
whether I totally agree with all of it kind of depends, but I could see where you're coming from. It's not like an unreasonable argument or anything.
all right. I'm known for saying things like, "Oh, Coring is bottom tier," or "Duck Hunt is bottom tier," or not bottom tier, but top, but like worst 5 characters in the game,
Mhm.
for example, or saying that Meta Knight is the worst character in the game because it is.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a difference between hot take and just something that's plainly outright stupid. I mean, I didn't think it was like anything stupid. So I've seen some pretty ridiculous stuff. So
Yeah, I can see that. Here, what it says, my hot take is Palutena is not that hard for Melmond once you play the matchup a lot.
yeah, I could see that. My thoughts on that matchup change all the time. Like I used to think it was like absolutely horrible at first. I mean, I played it and then okay, maybe it's -1, and then sometimes it feels almost even. But like it really, in my opinion, depends on who you're fighting.
Yeah.
If they know your habits well and they play you really well, she can just kind of destroy you and invalidate you. Um, so it's kind of hard to tell with that matchup, like where she is. I'd probably say it's like slight losing, or like yeah, probably slight losing. but it's not as bad as people would like normally think, considering how she does against most other zoners.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Which characters would you like to see playable characters in Ultimate, and what characters do you think are gonna be in the game?
I mean, like I said, the only character I really want is Crash, because that's the series I grew up with. It was like essentially the first video game I played on PlayStation 1. So I've wanted him in the game for like, I don't know, like over a decade now. I mean, now seems like the best time for him to get in, considering he's getting all these like reboots and remasters. Like all the other characters that got in, they weren't even like relevant at the time. Like they're kind of like from a dead series, I guess you could say, for like a few of them. But like,
You mean DLC characters
you know,
or in general?
the DLC characters. I'm talking about. I mean, I don't know how many games you see, or Banjo Kazooie getting new games, or like even new Castlevania games, or I don't know what new games you're seeing King K. Rool in, unless I don't play Donkey Kong Country, so I want to know. But I'm just trying to give some examples.
Yeah.
People always make this argument that he doesn't have a move set. He wouldn't have a move set. He just spins, and that's like, it's pretty obvious that they haven't played the games, because you could easily make one from just the first 3 in the series. I mean, other than that, I feel like characters. I mean, Dante would be pretty cool. Like I kind of want to see another Capcom character like Dante or like Phoenix Wright or something. I'd be fine with that. I'd be happy about that. But I mean, as for anybody I really want, it's just him. That's pretty much it.
Why do you
As for
have
characters I
this-
don't want to see, I didn't want Gino in the game. I'm glad that he's a me again, honestly, and sorry if I offend anybody. Also, don't want Bandana Waddle Dee, because I just don't understand that at all.
I mean, with the thing about Waddle Dee is that I think if they put Bandana Waddle Dee in the game, I think that if they do that, I think it will be better if they put Waddle Dee. And for example, he not only used the what's the thing that he used in Banana D? Is his
What, the spear?
Spear, but he also uses the parasol or I don't know, like electric powers, like in the games of Kirby, you know. Not only the sphere, you know.
Right.
And you said Phoenix Wright, and I just can't understand why people.
I don't know. I just felt like if you wanted a Kirby rep, you could put like Marks or something instead, and that'd be way more hype.
Yeah, of course. The problem is that Marks is already a boss, so I don't know if you can pull that one. But I think it makes sense now. When you said Phoenix Wright, I was like, why?
You don't like the concept of him as a fighter, at least.
I mean, I like the concept of a fighter, but and you can put the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 archetype in it and moveset and everything.
Right.
There's just one problem. What could be his recovery? What could be just how? How?
I don't know, some kind of fourth wall break.
God damn it.
It'd be fun. I mean, you know how often they like to throw in like joke characters in the game, or funny characters like Wii Fit, or Duck Hunt. Well, not Duck Hunt as much, but you know, character like Wii Fit, for example. I mean, what you think? What you think in your head? What would Wii Fit's recovery be before they put her in the game and they just give her the hula hoops? She just magically flies in the air somehow. You know.
Well, I think it kind of makes sense.
They could think of something.
I mean, it kind of makes sense why they pull the hula hoops, because in the games on Wii Fit they throw the hula hoops up so you can grab them. I think it kind of makes sense for that. When I saw the trailer of the hula hoops in Smash 4, I don't know. But if you want, I wanted to ask the other part of the question was which characters do you think are gonna be in the game?
I just feel like that's so difficult at this point, considering that they just released a Nintendo character. I'm assuming the next one's going to be third party. Man, it's hard. It's really hard to say. Like I really can't say. It's like so like sporadically unpredictable as of recent. I mean, a Fire Emblem character was pretty expected. There could be a new Pokemon rep or something, uh, or like, hmm. I'm trying to think like what people are talking about. I mean,
Crash.
it's hard to say. I do think Crash is like likely, but that's not what like most people have been saying. You know, people have been wanting like 2B or something in the game as like a common one, stuff like that.
Would you like me to say what characters would I like to appear and what characters do I think are gonna appear in the game?
What are
The characters that I want to be appear in the game, the characters I want are Porky from Earthbound. You know, Brawl, the final boss and everything. And then
yeah,
League
in
of
subspace at least.
what?
I was saying in subspace at least is the only time I've like
Yeah.
seen him that much.
Yeah, and then this is gonna be weird, but I really want League of Legends rep.
I mean, it's not impossible, but
I mean,
they could add a Fortnite character or something.
I think a
You know, if you look at
Fortnite
it that
character is
way.
gonna be in the game though.
You think it's gonna happen? It's hard to
Unfortunately,
say.
yes. Unfortunately, I think that it's possible for a Fortnite character to be in the game. But at the same time, League of Legends is such a well-known game, not only for people that play video games, but also for people that do not play video games, and people that are and casual players know League of Legends more than possibly even Mario. So for a game with such a popularity that is played by millions of people, I think it's possible for Sakurai to grab any character from League of Legends, similar to what he did with Min Min or Terry, and just put like a moveset or anything, and it will be hype. It will be really interesting. And the characters that I think are gonna appear is a Fortnite rep, because it's getting a lot of traction since 2018. And I think it's gonna be either Master Chief or Doom Guy.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Well, going back to the podcast, here, Juarez says, gotta go, Tacho, grace to you, and Dom, take care. Take care, Juarez. Hope you get a great night. Well, going back to the podcast, how do you usually practice for a tournament? You do a lot of lab and training mode, you play online, you watch replays and boss. What's your...
I mean, I do all those things, but like, are you talking about like immediately before a tournament?
In general, how do you practice in general?
Okay. It kind of depends. The thing is, what I've learned, it was like a combination of like what I learned when talking to Nitro and just myself. It's like studying for an exam. It's like all the improvement comes from outside of the game. And frankly, a lot of the improvement comes from the things that you don't want to do. It's like the things that are like a pain that are going to help you the most. Like the most painful things are the things that end up helping you the most. It's just like watching VODs of you like losing or taking notes on other people's VODs or videos, guides, things like that, studying matchup, grinding out a matchup that you hate playing, for example. Things like that. Like it's the stuff that you don't want to do that you kind of have to do if you want to improve. I mean, usually before a tournament, yeah. I mean, offline, I brought my own Switch tablet because I don't use GameCube controller. I can just bring my Pro controller and just warm up on there. Like if all the setups are taken, then I can just play on there and by myself into training mode and whatnot. So that's usually what I do. I mean, online, I would just go and play quick play, just because that's kind of there's not much else. I mean I do training too, but in the meantime, it's usually that like before. Finding a lot of the character specific stuff, yeah, it's training mode, like especially with the ledge trapping, because like that's like the character's main strong or like the strongest point, in my opinion. And a lot of people like the way that he used to do it doesn't work anymore. So I would just go into training mode, set the the computer to like either do nothing, like neutral get up or like jump or whatever off ledge, turn on invincibility so you could actually see the frames.
Yeah.
And just see like what works, what doesn't, and like I'd like to get an input recorder or something like that because that would help a lot, but I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, I can see that. What is usually your mentality when you are in a tournament setting?
It depends. Like if I'm walking around the venue and I'm talking about who I have to play, it's bad. Like my mentality when I'm not playing is bad. It's just like I don't want to lose to this guy. Like, oh man, I have to win this set, or else yada yada, or like it's pretty bad. But like when I'm actually playing, you can't think about that stuff, or else you're gonna get steamrolled. You kind of just end up falling apart if you let that stuff in your head. So like I just kind of tell myself when I'm actually playing, I kind of just sit down and focus, like literally just focus on what they're doing. Like look at what they're doing. Like devote your entire because if you're thinking about not wanting to lose or thinking about what's going to happen if you lose, like while you're playing the game, like sure, yeah, it's bad thoughts, but it's like it's taking away mental energy from you focusing on what your opponent's doing and like what you're supposed to be doing to win. Like the human mind is not like fully capable of multitasking. So if you're thinking about something else, you're probably going to be autopiloting and not actively thinking about the match.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of my main approach to that.
Yeah, it sucks. Is there a player that you like to watch? Could be either a Richter Main or not.
Let's see. I think the most exciting player that I like to watch. I know in Smash 4 it was Fatality, just because I mean Falcon, and he was like kind of like my idol in that sense. Just watching him play a lot. I'm trying to think. In Ultimate, I'm trying to give something that's not like too cliche, I guess.
You can be cliche, it's okay.
Like a lot of top players, I kind of just like watching the game at top level regardless. Like as long as it's like a super high level match and it's like tense, that's kind of all I want. That I enjoy watching.
Yeah, that makes sense. How do you feel about the level of the competitive scene in South Cali compared to the other communities in the US?
Okay. It's had like a relatively strong reputation just because tournaments have been around for a while and it's really grown. And at the beginning of the ultimate, like I was explaining to you earlier, a lot of the top players, like I guess either got involved in other things, retired from the game, like because when they came up with the PGR Top 100, I think SoCal maybe had like 10 players in that. Like SoCal had like 10 top 100 players in Smash 4, and like a lot of them, like some of them stopped playing for a bit, at least temporarily, or like their character doesn't play the same, or their character got nerfed, for example, with like Void or Larry, or like Rich Brown was PGR, he doesn't play anymore. Terra Bear I think he stepped away from the game for a bit, like some other people like that, and so there's kind of like this narrative going around that, oh, SoCal's washed, SoCal sucks, they're not as good as they used to be, which is kind of right. Like at the beginning of the game, like it's kind of dropped off. I mean, I think they're improving. We're improving now. But the number one thing I think is that like I explained earlier is that like we're not. A lot of these regions are like top heavy. Like it's like you go outside of their top 3 or top 5 players, and it's just like the skill level drops like dramatically. And I think in SoCal, I mean, we're blessed to have like a high number of players who play so many different characters. Unfortunately, a lot of the meta characters are not like PR level or high level. Like there's no Mega Man, there's no Wario, there's not much Inkling here. It's just like Joker, Wolf, Mario, and like aside from those characters are everywhere here. at like top. Like there's like 3 wolves on the PR, like 2 or 3 Marios, Luigi's. So like the character spread's kind of weird, but you'll always be able to find somebody who plays any character here at like at least a decent level, I'd say. And what else? I think they're on the come up now. I mean, Korean was saying, like, I think he's part of like the panel that decides the PR. He thought, like, with the whole SoCal Wash narrative, they're like, okay, we're getting these players with egos. We need to stop that now. We're gonna make the PR 15 people instead of 20. Even though, like I told you, like anybody below the top 10 is like anybody from outside of the top 10 is capable of like beating each other. Well, I mean, I mean like maybe anybody from top 10 to like the 10 to 30 is probably capable of making an upset, maybe even on like the lower ends of PGR at like some tournaments. Almost like, well, maybe not that level, but like, you know, they could easily take sets off of like some other like there are a lot of players who are really good that aren't even ranked. Like Vladin will take sets off of Nico. Yeah, sure, maybe he has his number, but he like gets really good results. Or like, you know, if you had a 5v5 crew battle versus some of the other top regions, we might lose, but we could probably beat almost everybody except for like Tri-State in like a 20 versus 20 because there's so much depth. Like there are a lot of players who are around like that high level. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Here and on is asking, what will you consider your spiciest clips, Dom?
The spiciest clips. I mean, it's not like I can't really like pull it up and show it to you, but like, I guess anything that involves up smash,
Yeah,
I'd say, or like because that's like like one of the most satisfying moves to hit in the game probably, because it's like they buffed it too, so it's like stronger and it kills earlier.
Yeah.
Like if you get like the tipper up smash or something out of reverse whatever, or like the sour spot bear forward smash stuff is like kind of ridiculous. You know, that's kind of hard to hit. Look, essentially, like if it's not easy to land and it like kills somebody at like they're at like 40 before you hit them at all, then yeah, that's like pretty sauce worthy or clip worthy or ledge trump stuff.
Here.
There's a lot of stuff yeah. What are you saying?
No. Finish. What do you?
I wanted to say there's a lot of stuff that I never really considered, like the down tilt tech chasing or like footstool, dare out of shield. Like there's all these random things that like I didn't really think were like that useful or viable. But like with how much the character struggles to kill, you kind of just have to get creative and literally come up with anything you can to KO somebody, like unironically.
Yeah, of course.
So you were saying?
Here Leon is asking, what's the worst and the best MU for Richter?
I think his worst matchup is Joker, actually. And a lot of people say it's Pikachu. I think it's Joker. Because, yeah, Pikachu's got Thunder Jolt. He can edge guard you. But aside from that, if you can, like, angle the whip around the, projectile or around the Thunder Jolts, he's not that fast. He's not, like, as fast in the air or the ground as, say, some other characters like Roy, for example. All of his aerials, you can up-B them out of shield. Unless he like drifts away from you. Like you can literally up-B like pretty much everything out of shield. You get 17% off him. At least he's not heavy, so he doesn't die, or so he dies earlier. Yeah, I think ZSS is worse than Pikachu too. Sometimes I think Yoshi's worse than Pikachu. Yoshi's absolutely horrible. I'm gonna get started on that one. That one gets me really angry. Like that matchup, I'm just gonna go Palutena, for example. But I mean, look, I know I got away with some BS, but like I beat Shining Mark in that tournament, his Pikachu. At Shine, I had to go through 2 Pikachus before beating New Day, so I had to play 2 Pikachus in a row. I mean, at the end of the day, I'd still recommend not playing that matchup. It's horrible, but like it's compared to Joker. So about Joker, right? The number one thing that makes me angry is the hurtbox shifting. Like how Pikachu like crouches under stuff and squishes under your F tilt. Like that's coming, though. I feel like it doesn't matter if he lands with an aerial next to you. You still can up-B him. Up-B scoops everybody off the ground. It doesn't matter if he's like low profiling. Like Joker avoids stuff in these like unexpected ways with his animations and his hurtbox shifting. Just really gets on my nerves. Like I think the thing is like Pikachu, But like Joker's like he looks like you should hit him, but you don't. And he's really elusive. You can't use projectiles in neutral because he'll just Rebels guard them. And so he doesn't even have to approach. He can just shoot you. He can just camp you with guns and side B, and like you can't really do anything. You kind of just have to like hope he makes a mistake. On top of that, he can edge guard you super easily. He can use Rainstorm and Gimp your tether just by shooting downward gun on you. He doesn't have to commit at all. And then of course you could totally be outplaying him, and then he gets Arsene, gets you off stage, and kills you at like some ridiculous percent like that. So it's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
His down tilt goes under your F tilt too. Yeah, you could get like one axe on him and it gets like half of his meter if he absorbs it.
Or maybe
in his combo game.
I think that Olivian said here like Rebel's guard fills up with one water. So yeah.
I don't think all the way. I don't remember. It's just like really. I'm still trying to find an answer because like a lot of some of the other characters I use don't do well against Joker either.
Yeah.
I tried Terry against Joker before. It went better. Like anything but Belmont, but still didn't work.
I can see that. Yeah. And what's the best MU for Richter?
Oh, best matchup? I guess like probably Lil Mac. Because that character loves to play on the ground, and it's just you have F tilt. What does he do? He has to commit to side B or something, and then you just bait that out, and then what? He can get ledge trapped like a lot of characters. He can't jump very well. He, jump off ledge is a really good option, but he doesn't want to be in the air anyways. You have the disjoints. He has no range. I was gonna say Ganon, but he has the lowest ledge hang in the game, so you actually can't hit him on ledge unless you throw axe or time like a back air perfectly.
Yeah.
I'd probably say Mac. Or like DDD. Even the bottle sends the Gordo back at him. It's really sad. With that character. At least he's heavy. Mac's not heavy.
Yeah,
and Cinera's bad too, but
Olivian here says Incineroar as the best matchup.
Yeah, Incineroar's not great for him either, but I still think Mac does worse. Incineroar's pretty bad though.
Yeah. I was thinking Isis, honestly.
I don't know how to fight that matchup. They have to commit to side B, and I'm not great at punishing it. Like I fought a Ices in bracket. I almost like both games were like last stock for some reason, just because I don't know what I'm doing. I almost never see that character.
Yeah, that makes sense. Unfortunately, here in Argentina, like one of the best top players here plays with Ices, so I have to learn that matchup. So it's not that bad as it seems. Like because I play with.
I mean, you could, yeah.
What?
I was saying you could counterpick him with Belmont if you wanted to.
Sure, but because I play with the PK boys. I'm an S Lewis main. The down B absorbs his down B, so and getting around the side B is just the only problem. It's just the only problem, but at the same time, you just have to shield it and wait for an opportunity to do aerials or like a PK fire or anything. And at the end of the day, it's just working around that and not getting grabbed, of course, because. Well, Isis combos.
Right.
Next question. Is there a set that you remember playing to this day? And if
is there a set that I remember? What about it? I mean, there's a lot of sets that I remember, obviously, but.
Of course. Can you tell me one in particular, and how is your mentality there?
I think the most. I mean, there are a lot of like times I got super close to beating a PGR player. Those are the ones that hurt the most, especially because I wanted to get out there and like, redeem myself. But then quarantine happened. Like in terms of the good ones, I guess the win over Mutace was pretty good because that was like the first time I beat a PGR tournament out of state. I mean, I know he has like a Belmont problem. I mean, I didn't know that until now that he he's lost to a lot of other Richter players, like Astil, Frosty. Well, he lost to Frosty 3-0, but then he actually like 3-0'd him back when they played in losers before he played me. I think like a few months later, I played him at Shine and then won game 5. I mean, yeah, I was nervous. I was just thinking like at that point I had nothing to lose and just like trying to focus. I'm like, in my head, I just thought this is doable. So, I mean, I tend to overthink things a lot, and it's when that happens, things go out of control. So the mentality is just like, sure, it sounds kind of corny the way I explained it. It's just like, it's possible, or like, being optimistic and whatnot. It's just like, it's like the best way to think about it is to not think about it. This is just my like approach to it. The best way to think about it is like not think about it and just like play the game and like no, like if you give it, like Ryu says, give it your all, then like what can you have nothing left to give. You don't really you don't want to have any regrets about it. If you did your best and you still lost, then hopefully you can go look at it and figure out what you did wrong.
Yeah, I can see that. What's your opinion on online tournaments?
Could you be more specific? Like, what about them specifically?
In general, your opinion. How do you feel about lag? How do you feel about? Do you like to play on tournaments?
Yeah, like I said, I don't like playing in them. I mean, I could stand some of the lag, I could stand some of the toxicity, or some of the just gimmicky play styles. It's like the number one thing I hate the most is the waiting time and how time consuming it is. I mean, usually, yeah, I'll go to a tournament offline, and it'll be like 5 or 6 hours, and I'm at least talking to people in between. But like with this, I'm just sitting in my chair doing nothing, and I hate it. Um, Online tournaments is just like that's the only option considering the current circumstance. So it's like I'm not against people doing offline tournaments. It's like people want to improve. It's like there's not much of an alternative. I mean, there's Yuzu and stuff like that, but not everybody has Yuzu. Not everybody has a like fast enough computer. Not everybody has a LAN connection even. So people will pick, um, try and find any way to get experience improved. So I'm not like against it or anything.
Well, but even though the online meta is not as great as the offline meta, but you got to the PR, like the recent one at 23rd. How do you felt about that achievement per se?
The funny thing is just like, people were telling me, and I kind of agreed that I thought I was going to end up higher. I'm not going to lie. I know that sounds kind of narcissistic, but like, with the placements that I got, and like, because I didn't lose to any unranked players. I mean, the ones I got were like what? The ones that counted were like Bestness, Leo, Sharp, Spargo, and there was like one other Chag, they all got like they're all like top 20, I think, almost all of them. And I didn't lose to any unranked players, and because I went on their Discord and I was like, but the thing is, like, I just wanted to enter those and like try and see like how would I do? Like that's why I'm not trying to do it again. I'm not trying to. I'm probably not going to be on the rankings next season because I don't like doing this stuff. But again, at the time, I wanted to experiment with the new stuff that I had learned and put it into practice in tournament and see how I do. Did you have something to take care of, or just?
I heard something like there. I have to check.
Sure. So, what's up, chat? If anyone's still watching. Yo. Can you see me smile? I mean, yeah, I am every once in a while. It's just like, I don't know. I gotta do that more. I'm just tired, man. Like, in all honesty. What do you think about character hate? Do you think skill gap? Skill gap? Oh yeah, dude, the YouTube comments are like actually ridiculous. Like, that is like, these people don't know jack about how he works and try to give an opinion, like I said, when they don't know anything. I just try not to look at it. Sometimes if I'm in the mood, I'll look at it because it's funny. Like, those people actually have no clue what they're talking about. They don't understand at all. They just like, it's like, stay mad, kid. Oh, we're just talking about people in the YouTube comments.
Yeah,
So they
I saw
absolutely despise the
the.
character.
Yeah, I saw
Like,
the.
yeah. If you see any set of me fighting like Luigi or Donkey Kong or a character that Belmont does well against, and it's like bad neutral, then like you'll see people get like just go off in the comment section. Would I drop him for Crash? I would probably try maining Crash or trying to make him work, but like I wouldn't drop Richter. Not after all. I don't plan on ever dropping the character entirely after all of the hours I put into him. Obviously, it's kind of like throwing that away. It's like, why put all that effort in just to not anymore?
Of course.
For one.
Also, I wanted to ask if you could raid the stream. I forgot to ask you like before the podcast even started.
To raid the stream?
Yeah. Hold up. Let me.
Oh,
Just,
okay.
Another friend came to my house and he came with a bike. So I don't know where he's gonna put it. So I'm coming right back.
Oh, he's okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know how long this thing's supposed to take. Unless somebody gave me the details. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh, there were like a lot of times I considered dropping him, but never did. I just got fed up, like, oh, he's so, like, I'm just tired of losing because, like, to somebody, it's like what Nitro was saying, he's like, I'm tired of losing, he said, I'm tired of losing to somebody that I'm better than, just because, and he's right, like, some of these matchups are, like, just so volatilely bad, that, like, somebody who barely knows what they're, okay, at a certain level, somebody who barely knows what they're doing could still win, just mindless, like Zero Suit, for example, could just mindlessly press buttons and get away with it against him because the tool sets interact in a way that's just so terrible for Belmont that it doesn't matter.
So I'm right back. So the next, going to the next question. Sorry for everything. You're a member of the University of California Irvine's first Smash Ultimate Scholarship team. The first university to offer scholarship for the game. How do you felt about it, and how do you like it so far?
Okay, so let's see. Well, this is something that nobody thought was going to happen for a while. We always had a club. Like it's the school was known. Well, not, I don't know about outside the school, but like people at the school. Like it had a really awesome Smash team, including Melee. Melee. I don't know if you know who Captain Face Roll is. He's like top 20 or 30 Melee PGR player. Yeah, he went here. He went to school there. Like he graduated maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. He still goes to tournament. He'd still go to tournaments at the club on campus. So yeah, he's from there too. So they host tournaments every week. It's really active. At least when Ultimate came out. Like when Ultimate came out, they get tournaments of like 50 people, which for at a college is pretty good. And the scene's good. Like they have a lot of good. We have a lot of good players. Like PR people will it's kind of like this own secluded region because a lot of the players, at least at the beginning of Ultimate, didn't go to any tournaments, including myself, outside of the UCI tournaments. At least during Smash 4, I used to only go to the UCI ones. Like that was it. So like there's all these good players that people might not even know about. It's like what happens is like sometimes a PR player will show up to try and shark the tournament because the payout's actually pretty good. Like the 2GG tournaments, like Wednesday Night Fights, Mega Smash Mondays, those things cost $15 to enter. The UCI tournaments cost like half that. They cost like $7 or like $5 if you're a member of the one of their clubs they have, like associations they have here. and the payout's like roughly the same. Like it's only a little bit less. So like you could actually make a lot of money from the tournaments. Like you'll like for first place you'll get like a little over $100 and only pay like $5-7 to enter, as opposed to MSM where you pay like $15 to enter and you get like 150 for winning. So yeah, people will sometimes show up and you'd hold on a second. What was that? Oh, okay, hold on a second. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, of course. Don't worry.
And so you'd here. You'd go. So these PR players would go there and they'd end up getting like upset or something because either they don't know how to fight some of the weird characters that we had, or like you know, I've never played these people before, or because some of the players are actually good, and then they won't come back. It's just kind of funny. Well, I mean, Elegant would sometimes go. You see him a lot. Raza would go a lot, and they'd win it, or sometimes not win it. So, but the anticipation of winning it, yeah, it's like even after I became PR, I'd get upset a few times still to some of the players there. But this isn't something that people were expecting to happen until like years after we graduate. The scholarship thing. I guess there was like a donor who somebody who writes like a magazine on video games. I think he donated like a few $1,000s to the school, and so what they decided to do with that was create a new team, which was for this, because they had a team for Overwatch and they had a team for League, and they decided to give out scholarships for this game. So they, I don't want to say it was like, I don't want to talk bad. I don't think it was like the greatest, most well organized thing, but I can't really blame them because it was like a pilot program because it was the first time they were ever doing this.
Yeah.
So they had kind of like an interview. You had to fill out. They had you fill out a Google form with like your name and like your tournament experience, and they asked for what your GSP was on the application, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
On like Elite Smash or whatever. And then they did interviews. They kind of evaluate like how you are as a student, like are you passing your classes or getting good grades or whatnot. They mainly just ended up choosing the top 5 players from the school, essentially. Nobody was getting like bad enough grades to not be considered, really, I think. And then yeah, that you get like these benefits. They have like a team psychologist and like a physical therapist and stuff like that. You had access to use their computers whenever, or like academic advising, career advising that they had to. I mean, as a student, you get some of that stuff you get anyways, but not the psychology stuff and I mean, at least for free. What else was I gonna say? The program. Oh, they said they were gonna fly us out to like they'd pay for our flights to like 5 or 6 different major tournaments that year. The only one we were able to go to was Genesis. So they flew. So they paid for our flight to Genesis. I used the other sponsor I had to cover my entry fee, and then I would just pay for like hotel and food and stuff. The second tournament was gonna be CEO Dreamland, and then quarantine happened, so didn't get to fully reap the benefits of that, which kind of sucks because it was so exciting. Like, oh, we're gonna fly out to like 5 different tournaments, and then nope, this all happened instead. So this year they kind of discontinued the program. They got they sent us stuff. We're still technically part of the team, but we don't do anything organized really. They had us playing some online crew battle versus UCLA, and that's it. So the sponsorship program this year is kind of like inactive, I guess. Unfortunately, like we're still technically part of the team. We're just not getting the scholarship stuff. Really.
Of course. Well, you're also sponsored by Karts Gaming. How and when you got into that sponsor, and do you like it so far?
I got one of my friends who's a player from SoCal and also goes to UCI got picked up by them. He's kind of like he's pretty good at networking and like socializing, so I'm assuming that's how he got it. And so he told me about it, and I was interested in joining, and I did, and they picked me up and stuff like that. I think they served as a really good sponsor for like at an amateur level. They're mostly focused on other games like Gears of War, Call of Duty, some of the other games. not as much as with Smash. But I mean, Smash, isn't really where the money is, like I explained. So
Yeah.
that's probably another reason why they're more incentivized with those games. They covered our entry fees for like all the tournaments at first, and but now only for major events. And then they give us jerseys, some equipment, stuff like that. They don't pay for flights or anything. I'm hoping like eventually when offline comes back, if I'm not like part of the UCI program anymore, I could find a sponsor that would help out with flight costs because that's kind of the big one, the big deal. He's going to majors.
Yeah, of course. When and why did you start streaming on Twitch, and how's your experience overall?
I guess I kind of did it out of boredom, and I just saw other players doing it. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like maybe I want to start making content, or at least recording content. I think the main thing was I wanted to get a capture card to make guides because I couldn't record my own screen. So I think around Christmas 2019, I think I ordered a capture card, or maybe like I don't remember. It was like a year or two ago, and I started making YouTube videos, and I was like, oh, I could stream on Twitch with this too, and so I started doing that off my laptop, and just thought it was fun. I did it maybe like once a week, or twice a week before COVID, and then they even let me use their equipment at the UCI esports arena on campus. But then when everything went online, I started doing it maybe as much as like 5 times a week, a lot more, just because I was just stuck inside, and it was kind of fun as a pastime. I mean, of course, the more I got fed up with doing Wi-Fi tournaments, I started streaming like not Smash stuff, even though it doesn't really get the same viewership and numbers as Smash does. I'd still just rather do that because it's more fun.
Yeah, I see. Well, you also do YouTube videos though.
Yeah.
But some of them are directly from your Twitch clips and Twitch reactions, and some of them are like by your own without Twitch.
Yeah.
How and when do you started doing YouTube videos?
That I started like right after the game came out. Like the first video I posted on there was like December 2018, I think. That one actually got like a lot of videos, but yeah, that was the first time I did that. So I've been doing that for a while. I haven't been as active on YouTube as say Twitch, just because editing videos I learned the hard way takes a really long time. Like some of the videos I've made on that channel took like 30, 40 hours of editing, especially the ones with voiceovers. So now the way I approach it is just try and like get it all done in one take. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we've been talking a lot with D3 Dom. Now I want to talk with Dominic for a little bit. Well, tell us, what do you like to do besides playing video games?
So I have a few hobbies outside of the game, like I'm into sports a lot. I've been playing baseball, for example, since I was like 5. I mean, my parents had me try a lot of sports. Like I did like AYSO, like football, and like a little bit of basketball, which I was never great at. Um, but mainly baseball. I've been doing that through like high school and like adult leagues. So I was still playing like before quarantine happened. I like to try and get into that again. And also, I was a band kid since like elementary school too. So I still kind of play music every once in a while. I mean, because I don't have baseball, I've been trying to exercise pretty often. I mean, it helps relieve stress and gets me through this a decent amount. So it's mainly like those two things.
Well, as far as I know, you're studying both computer science and electrical engineering at the UCI. What was the reason you are studying those careers, and do you like it so far?
I do like it. It's kind of hard in a remote environment to get hands-on skill. There's all these memes going around about like, oh, it's like a tumbling bridge or something, and it's like, and the caption says like civil engineers who graduated online, or it's like somebody like soldering like paste onto their own hand, like they don't know what to do because because it was just online. Um, But before that happened, neither of my parents have a college degree, so like I guess you could say I'm a first generation student, even though my grandparents went to college. Um, I just liked math and science a lot. I like grew up watching like science documentaries on like marine biology or like outer space and stuff like that, or like reading books about it. I was always into math and stuff. I did like math science competitions as a kid in like school and things like that. So that's kind of just why I picked it up. And I was like, okay, this is there's a lot of techno. This is just it's such a technology heavy age. Like, why not go into STEM? Um, and I can tolerate the math and science and stuff. So I wanted to get a background in hardware and software. So I did electrical engineering. I wanted to do both, but I realized it's actually too much. So I'm completing it with like I'm doing a minor in computer science. Plus, there's like no point. Like you could get a job for one with a degree in the other, probably most likely. It's like getting programming skills. So I just took like some classes in that.
Yeah.
Can definitely say it wasn't easy, but it's almost over until grad school.
Yeah. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Well,
Mm.
it's been almost a year since the quarantine. Since the quarantine started. How do you feel about this new reality, and has COVID affected you in any way?
Yeah, it has. I definitely am online a lot more. So like there are people like I interact with people obviously a lot more online, and there are some people that like I've only met online that I interact a lot more with than I used to with people I've known from school. Just because like they're not on the platforms that I use as much. Like I mainly just use like Twitter and Discord when it used to be like I don't know Instagram, Facebook. Well, I don't use those two that much at all anymore, or used to. But uh, yeah, it's been kind of hard adapting, like mentally, emotionally, things like that. I thought I was an introverted person before this happened, and I kind of found out that's not true. Maybe more just like antisocial. It's like I do like talking to people. It's just like I feel like I don't get along with like the typical normal person who's into things that like don't really matter to me. If there's like something I don't find interest in, I don't put effort into it. Or people who are just not genuine, or things like that. Um, so because of that, I don't want to say I had a small friend circle, but at least people who are like close. And now I kind of don't get to see them as much anymore. It's just kind of like, wow, I kind of wish I networked a bit more before this all happened, which was my plan.
Yeah.
But things didn't go according to plan with this, so everything's just kind of out the window.
Of course. And it kind of sucks.
Hmm.
Well, here's the moment I've been waiting for. The lightning round questions on the podcast. We're gonna take some random questions from the webpage as well as a couple related to Smash and video games. So, teacher Dom,
Hmm.
are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure.
Alright, cool. What do you think is Richter's worst alt?
Oh, his worst alt? I'd probably say none of them are like that bad. It's either the purple one or the yellow one. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
Really?
And I think the only yes, the red and white one looks amazing. I use the green and blue ones just because those are my favorite colors, and I just like that anyway. The original one is just the original. I mean, I don't hate it or anything. The red one's pretty cool too. I don't really have a problem with that one. It's just like it's the purple one and the yellow one. And the only reason I give the edge to the yellow one is because it looks like he's wearing jeans, which I guess is pretty cool. But
Sure.
I just don't have an appeal for purple, I guess, and the fact that he's got like the green under there just makes it look weird. I don't know.
Sure, but the original and the blue one looks practically the same. What do you mean?
I just think of the blue. The bluer blue one. I just feel like is an enhanced version of the original one. Like his boots are golden, and the blue is just kind of. It just looks cooler to me.
Sure.
The pants are a bit brighter too, so I was like, why not use that one? I like that one more.
Could you play a little bit of saxophone for the podcast, or
For the podcast, I mean, I don't know what I would play right now, but it probably wouldn't sound great because I don't have a microphone. I just have this, so I'd have to like play into that, and that'd
Nah,
be
sure.
kind of weird.
I mean, if you want, you can play a little bit, whatever you want, but Kiwi Sleepless says, bitch, the fuck you said about the purple alt? Yikes. I
I
don't
don't
know.
like it. I don't. I'm sorry. Like, well, I guess it's not that I don't like it. It's just like the other ones are all so much better in my opinion. Not by like a wide margin, but like it's just relatively speaking. I'm pulling up the alts right now and just looking at them. They're not like.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
the purple one's the worst one. This is my opinion. You're just gonna get mad about that, then it's not my problem.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, if you want to play the sax a little bit, your choice. If not, we can go straight to the next question.
Well, unfortunately, like I said, I do have some work to take care of, so I don't have like that much time.
All right. Well, next question. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
You know, as a kid, I was like pretty basic. I just liked vanilla. I mean, not anymore. Usually when I go, I get something like, I don't know, something even more childish, like cotton candy or birthday cake or something like that. You know, I was never into chocolate for some reason. Like I like eating like chocolate itself, like Hershey's or like milk chocolate or like dark chocolate, but I never liked chocolate in like the form of something else, like chocolate donuts, chocolate cake, or chocolate ice cream for some reason. I like didn't like any of those. Um, Sherbets are like alright. It's like mainly those two. Strawberry is pretty good too.
I'm gonna write a hot take. If you're in the
Okay.
chat.
Tastes horrible.
Yeah.
I was just giving an example. I don't eat it anymore.
Oh.
I try to stay away from candy in general, but
Oh.
I could see that. It's kind of on the basic end. Like if I actually had to choose, I'd choose like Kit Kat or something.
That's
You don't
the
like that
worst
either?
chocolate I ever tasted.
You don't like it?
No, I mean, the flavor is
Damn.
not bad. It's not good either, but the texture is just awful.
What kind of candy you like then? I'm curious.
In terms of candy, I don't eat too much due to the fact that I use braces.
Mhm.
But if I do, I eat more. I eat ice cream a lot, to be honest. But if it's
That's usually what I eat more than candy.
but if it is like candy in particular, I'm not so sure. Well, there's things in Argentina called alfajores. There's like how could I explain to an American an alfajor? Yeah, I mean you can look it up. Like
How do you spell
in
it?
the chat.
Oh wait, hold on, let me pull up the chat. Oh, alfajor? Wait, hold on. Here, let me see. What is that? Oh, it looks like a one of those like a moon pie or something.
Yeah, it's like a moon pie, exactly.
Okay. It doesn't look. I mean, I've had moon pies before and they're not bad, so
Yeah.
I can't tell if
Well,
you call that candy or like something else though.
no, technically they sell it at candy stores, but they're technically not
Yeah.
candy because they're with chocolate or
It
caramel or coconut.
yeah, it's like a pastry or something.
Yeah, it's like a pastry. It's like a pastry, exactly. Well, what's your opinion on energy drinks? Do you drink them during tournaments or anything?
I do not drink. I don't drink energy drinks. I don't drink coffee. I just drink like water 90% of the time, unless I'm drinking alcohol. But I don't drink soda either. Juice sometimes, but like mostly just water. Like I have a bunch of like I have to like clear out my car or like my apartment of like all these empty water bottles that I have lying around.
Well, Sweet was
Probably get a
taken.
filter.
Sweet was taken is asking, Subdom, what do you think about the Belmont's Falcon matchup?
I think it's even. I mean, online it might change a little bit. I feel like it's like roughly even.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell though, just because he's got pretty good air mobility, just mobility in general. His dash isn't that great though, but like, and he can decently edge guard if he knows how to. Because I fought Fatality in the first to 10, and he kept going off stage with like weak knee or something, and he could never hit me because he wasn't edge guarding me properly. But this one guy I play at my college, he'd get me like half the time off stage because he just goes super deep and he'd use up B like Falcon Dive to catch me,
Yeah.
and that worked pretty well, honestly.
Yeah. This is gonna be pretty controversial, and it's a hot take of mine. Milk before cereal.
I mean, I've eaten it both ways. I don't really find a difference.
Alright.
But I usually put milk in after. I feel like as a kid I used to, or maybe I'm just tired and not paying attention that I wouldn't even care what order I put it in. I've heard somebody say, I forgot who, but somebody said they like eating cereal with water or something, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, or with juice. Yeah, that doesn't make no sense. That makes no sense.
Mm.
I
I mean, I guess I can't really say anything since I haven't tried it.
What's your favorite video game?
Probably. I mean, what besides Smash?
Besides Smash.
Let's see. I feel like there's just so many to choose from that I'm like overwhelmed. Or if it's like from a specific genre or something.
You can do a top 3 if you want.
Can do a what?
You can do a top 3 if you want.
Oh, top 3?
Yeah.
I mean, the games I enjoyed the most as a kid was like Mario Galaxy. Here, I like playing. Like my favorite genres are like platformers or like bullet hells, like kind of the more difficult spectrum of that.
Yeah.
Some FPS I don't play too much, mainly just Call of Duty, and puzzle games are alright. And I like racing games a lot. I grew up playing a lot of those, especially Mario Kart, which I don't play that much anymore because I don't even own it on the Switch. Honestly, I don't know if this is like a hot take or not because I don't play Deluxe that much anymore, or I only played it on the Wii U or Mario Kart 8. I think the top 3 Mario Karts, in my opinion, are Wii, number 1 for me, and then either DS and then Double Dash, I think in that order, if I had to rank them, honestly. Yeah, this is my like opinion on it.
Interesting.
I mean, I've played Deluxe. I thought it was like all right. It was, I mean, it's like up to par with all the other, Mario Kart racing games. But if I had to give my 3, I think that, like, I totally would say that Wii is the best one.
Yeah, it is. I mean, nobody can know that. Well, next question is, ¿sabes hablar español? O ¿sabes hablar español?
Sorry, you like cut out for a second.
I'm gonna say it like Americanized because in Argentinian it wouldn't be understandable, I think.
Yeah.
¿Sabes hablar español?
Oh, pues,
Oh,
tomé clases en español por aproximadamente 4 años en escuela secundaria. No lo hablo mucho. Puedo leerlo y escribirlo solo un poco. Es todo.
igual. I mean, it's surprising.
Igual.
Damn.
I mean, if I hear people talking it, speaking it too quickly, then I can't pick it up that well. Like maybe like 1 out of every other word or so. Or just like my Spanish 4 teacher was so focused on like, because we had to write like this ensayo persuasivo and like do some like pretty writing heavy that we weren't taught any new like grammar or like vocabulary and stuff. It was just like preparing for the exam so much that we got like rusty, and I haven't taken Spanish since then, so like I haven't had like many opportunities to practice it, so kind of rusty with it. If I had the time, there's like a lot of things that I want to do, but I don't have like that much time, especially with school and everything. But like practicing Spanish is something I probably want to get into again
Awesome.
because it's so useful.
Yeah, it is. It actually is. Do you know how to draw?
I've been trying that too, like a little bit. I got I got a tablet like a couple months ago.
Whoa.
Because I was in quarantine. I was like, I'd like to try something other than music. Which was, so I was like, artistic other than music, which was drawing. So I like started doing stuff on paper for a bit. I mean, I'm still like a pretty noob level, honestly. So, I mean, it takes a lot of hours and work and stuff. So again, it's just like trying to balance like my time with it. Like, what do I want to do? I mean, like sometimes it started out like I'd do it like an hour a day, like starting from like complete scratch though. Like I couldn't draw anything better than like stick figures really. And then I think after like a few weeks of that, of doing it like an hour, like a couple weeks of that, I just kind of stopped. And then like sometimes it's like I'll do it for like half an hour a day for a few days, or like an hour a day for a few days, and then just there was one time I just went 3 weeks without doing it, just because like school just like messes up all that stuff in terms of how much free time I have. Like I don't think I've streamed on my own channel in like a week now, because it's been so busy with that. So.
Well, last question of the podcast. Who would you like to nominate so he or she could come to the next podcast?
Who would I like to nominate for the podcast? I need to think a bit. Are there any preferences, or is it just like whoever?
It could be preference, it could be whoever. It depends on you. It could be more than one player.
Here, I'll ask a player. Make Mabel do it.
You know,
The Dr. Mario player?
You're the second player that asked for Mabel. Like the first one was.
Asked for me.
Yeah, the first
What'd
one
he say?
was.
Did you ask?
The first one was Knuckles Up, if I'm not mistaken, and you're the second player
Who?
that asked. Knuckles Up, the ones from the TikToks on Twitter.
Oh, Knuckles Up. Oh, yeah, the K-roll. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the second player that asked for Mabel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can talk to him if you want.
Okay, sure.
Sure. Well, here's where the podcast is coming to an end. Thank you so much to do through Dom. If the public wants to look up your social media or anything, where they will find you.
Let's see. I mean, I got like Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. It's all on my profile. Twitter, it's just Dom_SSB for like it's literally the same as my Twitch, and then YouTube is just my actual tag.
Alright, cool. Well, don't forget to follow me on Twitch, so you will miss any chance of the podcast. I'm talking to the chat though, or you can subscribe to my channel. It will make me really happy if you do. Well, thank you so much to anyone who watched the podcast during the stream. I'm talking about Oblivion, Luares, and Panchin, Anon, who else? Then there was Over and Q Sleepless, Sweden Was Taken. Anyone that appeared and are gonna watch this podcast on my YouTube channel, thank you so much to anyone and to everyone. And well, thank you 33 Dom and again to appear. I hope you had a great time. And well, this is coming to an end, and I'll see you tomorrow with Lookback. And well, live long and prosper. Bye.